Okay, good evening. How's everyone doing? Awesome. Okay, well, welcome. First, let me do some quick introductions. My name is Lieutenant Colonel David Everly. I'm the commanding officer of 5th Battalion, 11th Marines. And let me welcome all of you to what I believe will be a very informative and educational panel session. I want to go ahead and let you know that you're in for a treat tonight. And please do not hold back as we test these officers here in some of their knowledge and their years of experience. Collectively here you have over 100 years of military experience, some being enlisted time and majority being on the officer side. So because we like to have our bios, excuse me for a moment, this is challenging. Okay. If you look at the television screens very briefly, because we don't want to read each individual officer's bios, that would probably take too long and probably cut into our question time. We've highlighted, and it's probably too hard to read, but so I'll just cover some of the highlights, understanding these gentlemen's bios are very lengthy, and I may gloss over some things that are vitally important, but I just want to cover some of the major accomplishments. So our first panelist is currently the commanding officer of Medical Battalion, Captain James Letexier, and he has a bachelor's degree from the University of North Dakota and received a commission as a medical service officer. He is prior enlisted Navy, and has several tours, both shore duty and aboard ship. First assignment as an industrial hygienist was the Occupational Health and Preventive Maintenance Medicine Department at the Naval Hospital, Bremerton, Washington. He also served aboard the USS Nimitz as the first industrial hygiene officer assigned to an aircraft carrier. He additionally served with the 2nd FSSG, which is now known as the 2nd MLG, and served in the officer in charge of occupational medicine and environmental affairs. He graduated from the Marine Corps Command and Staff College in Quantico, and he also served the medical officer of the Marine Corps, Headquarters Marine Corps. He deployed in 2003 with the 1st MEB and Task Force Tara as a deputy surgeon and senior medical planner in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. And he additionally was a senior naval advisor and senior environmental health consultant, Armed Forces Medical Intelligence Center, Defense Intelligence Agency, Washington, D.C. Additional tours were as an executive officer for the academic director and deputy director for Marine Corps Health Services and Training Education Center of Excellence, which is a mouthful, Field Medical Battalion East, Camp Lejeune. Additional assignments were the deputy force surgeon, senior medical planner for Marfort Pac, Camp Smith, Hawaii. Sir, thank you. Appreciate you being here. Okay. Our next panelist is Lieutenant Colonel A.T. Williamson. Lieutenant Colonel Williamson is originally from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and he is a graduate of the United States Naval Academy. He has served 3 separate tours in 9th Com Battalion and currently is on his 3rd as the commanding officer of 9th Com Battalion. Additionally, he has served with the 15th MEU as the 6th Alpha aboard the USS Essex, and he has also served a tour at the U.S. Naval Academy following his completion of Naval Postgraduate Leadership Education Development Master's Degree Program. He then followed on and did a tour as a company officer and naval leadership instructor at the Naval Academy. Additional abilities filled is the 3rd Marine Division G6 OPSO, the commanding officer of 3rd Marine Division Comm Company, and he's also served as the staff secretary, 3 MEF. He has done a joint tour, and in his joint tour he served with Special Operations Command in Tampa, Florida. His education background, he has a bachelor's from the United States Naval Academy. He has a master's from MPS. He's attended the Expeditionary Warfare School, the Marine Corps Command and Staff College, and he also has attended the Joint Combined Warfighting School for his JPME qualifications. Sir, welcome. First, I should say now our next panelist has been gracious enough to host us here at the hospital, as he is the commanding officer of the hospital. So, sir, thank you right up front for allowing us to use your facilities and such a gracious host. Captain Iverson is a native of Longview, Texas. He obtained his master's degree in divinity from Central Baptist. I recognize I have not moved my slides. Apologize. He received a master's degree of divinity from the Central Baptist Theology Seminary in 1981, and a doctorate of medicine degree from the University of Minnesota. He's completed a family practice residency at the hospital of Pensacola, and he has several tours, and I'll highlight some of these. First utilization tour as a family physician was at the branch clinic in Italy. He's also served at the hospital in Orlando, Florida, and Rota, Spain. After completing training at NASA, he directed the regional space shuttle support team covering several transatlantic airstrips in Europe and Africa for space shuttle launches. He was selected as a teaching faculty for the family medicine residency at the Naval Hospital Pensacola, and he also served at Sigonella and served as the director of clinical services there. He attended the Navy War College in Rhode Island and received a master's of National Security Strategy Studies. And he was also selected for the Senior Medical Corps Assignment Officer at the Navy Personnel Command. He has served a tour as the XO of the hospital in Bremerton, and he has also served as a commanding officer of EMF Kuwait, leading several initiatives there. So, sir, thank you for the host for this PME, and thank you for being a panelist. And our last panelist is the Commanding General of the 1st Marine Division. Many of you may know. He was born in St. Augustine, Florida, and graduated from Austin Peay State University in Tennessee. He has a bachelor's in biology. He has commanded at the platoon, company, battalion, regiment, division, and MEB level. Right? He has served in every active duty component, 1st MEF, 2nd MEF, and 3rd MEF. In addition to his non-fleet tours, he served 2 tours at Marine Corps Recruiting Depot, one at Parris Island, and the second one as the commanding officer of Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. He has served a tour at the security forces with Marine Corps Barracks 8th and I. He also has served a joint tour. In addition to his joint tour, he has a Headquarters Marine Corps tour where he was the Lieutenant Colonel's monitor as a Lieutenant Colonel. He served as the director of the Expeditionary Warfare School Training Command, and additionally, he has served as a commanding general of Marine Corps Recruiting Command. His military schools include Amphibious Warfare School, the Army Command and Staff, and the National War College. Well, if we could all welcome our panelists, and thank you for holding your applause, and we can go ahead and start. Very briefly, I do a little bit administrative. There are still refreshments across the hall, so at any given time, if you feel you want to get some water or Coke, please feel free to help yourself, and there's heads that are located outside. Additionally, please feel free to come and go as the panelists are discussing, and we can go ahead and start. So the ROE will be as such. I'll start the panelists off with 3 questions, and we'll go in succession, and they'll answer those questions, and then at which point I will cease and I'll turn it over to the floor. So we'll turn over to the floor for questions. There are no limits to these questions in regards to career guidance, what you've seen from promotion boards. You have the ability to ask whatever you think is appropriate. You can ask a question of the entire panel, or you can ask it to one particular panelist because you may have a particular question. So I will start with the first question, and I'll start closest to me. Gentlemen, if you could describe your command philosophy. Sure.
Oh, thank you very much. I wrote my command philosophy here prior to coming into Med Battalion. One of the things I looked at is of all my years and what can I do, what can I say that hasn't been said before? So I'm looking at it and what can I do? And these are some of the things, it's just 3 simple things I look at. And I call it SPF. And we put that on every single day. SPF 100%. My SPF is service. Service is the first leg of my command philosophy. Service is based on God, country, and corps. Respect the beliefs of others, and that's the first one. The second one is professionalism. Professionalism is we are accountable, responsible, reliable, and committed to ourselves, our shipmates, and our mission. The future will not be like today, and I continue to go on. The last is family, SPF. Family, sailors, Marines, civilian Marines, family members, and relatives. This includes the moms and dads, the significant others, and your extended family. And really, basically, we're all brothers and sisters in arms. So mine is SPF 100%. So it's kind of easy to remember because we all put it on every single day. All of us are leaders. We should be looking at service, professionalism, and family.
Thank you, sir.
Very well done. Good evening. Command philosophy, I've always been taught from the beginning that philosophy is who we are, what we believe. It's if you think before you go into an organization, whether it's a platoon, in my case now a battalion, or if you have the opportunity to be a command general one day, how do you intend to command? How do you intend to lead? What do you want the takeaways for those of you lead to be? If they were to describe you, how would they describe you? And so many of us use acronyms or short monograms or whatever, so our Marines remember it. So the question I ask our Marines is are we going to stay on pace? I want you to stay on pace. And that pace for me is the acronym for my command philosophy, PACEE. It's professionalism, accountability, character, excellence, and esprit de corps. That's who I am. That's what I believe. When I carry myself and someone were to describe me as a battalion commander or as a leader, I hope that that's how they describe me. But even more importantly, from the organizations that we lead, could we describe our organization, could we describe our Marines in that fashion? Are they carrying themselves in that fashion? So to me, professionalism is at the top of my pyramid. It's the top of my core beliefs. Professionals play the game at the highest level of play. They understand the rules, the regulations, the standards, the codes of conduct. We carry ourselves appropriately, we speak and we dress appropriately, and we perform at a certain level. Accountability is, especially as officers, we take responsibility for the people and the things within our realm of influence, within our sphere of influence. We take responsibility for it. We take ownership. When we take ownership, we expect that as you have ownership of the problems as well as those successes. C is the character. For me, I profess to be we should all be men and women of personal integrity and character. And what I challenge the folks that I get the opportunity to lead is that character is doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do all the time, regardless of what the impact will be. Regardless of what the impact will be. E is excellence, and that's constantly shooting for a higher level. I use the acronym about being playing this game at the highest level of play and this thing of this about sports as well. So excellence is not just winning the championship. There's no team, there's no NFL or NBA team, there's no team that's won a championship that's happy with what they did last season. When they roll into the next season, they're looking at being excellent. What new acquisitions do they need to make? What do they need to learn? How much more training they need to do to be successful again the next year with the next exercise, the next operation. And then finally is esprit de corps, as being proud of who we are as a corps. Proud of who we are, we're all proud of being Marines or being sailors, but are you proud of your organization? Are you proud of your command? Are you proud of your section and your team? Do you wear the uniform appropriately and do you carry yourself appropriately? So again, as you're describing a 9th Combat Battalion Marine, in my case right now as it relates to my command philosophy, are they professional? Do they take responsibility for everyone and everything within their sphere of influence? Are they men and women of character and integrity? Do they perform excellently? And do they have strong esprit? That's how I describe my command philosophy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, good evening. First of all, let me say what a delight to see this group out here tonight. It absolutely exceeds my expectations. I thought there maybe be half this number, and delighted to see this maybe in the hospital. So thanks for coming. My command philosophy can be summarized in one word. And it's a word that happened to be the title of a book that I read several years ago, and the book is called Better. Has anybody read the book Better by Atul Gawande, who's a surgeon out of the Northeast? And basically, the sort of the flavor of that book is that nowhere, perhaps more so in medicine, have there been such fruitful initiatives to try to transform and make things better. And in that book, which is really a collection of articles that were published in the New England Journal of Medicine, it's a series of instances where people got together and made significant changes in medical care, whether it be hand washing, whether it be eyewear on the battlefield, whether it be this group in Minnesota and the treatment of cystic fibrosis, where the prognosis is really pretty grim and they really challenge the system, and we're able to increase the life expectancy of the patients a phenomenal amount. It goes on many, many other chapters, and I thought, that's not a bad philosophy to have as a commanding officer. And so when I adopted that philosophy for myself, and I challenged members of the command with that philosophy to ask themselves on a regular basis this question: what can I do to make things better? Said another way, what can I do to make a positive difference? And I asked them, and I asked myself, what can we do in 5 different areas to try to make things better? better in the lives of our patients. You know, we, quadruple aim, which deals with the experience of care, deals with the cost, deals with promoting health of the organization and readiness, but that one mode where experience of care, what does a patient go through from their entire experience that starts with calling to try to make an appointment, to then negotiating through the entire healthcare system, when they walk in, when they are seen by the first clinic that they're seen by, and then when they are given prescriptions, to go to the pharmacy, to go to the lab, go to radiology, all the way then to come back to their ultimate, maybe a follow-up appointment after that. What's their experience like when they go through that? So as the patient is experiencing that, we're observing the nurse are, man, what can we do to try to make that experience of care better for our patients? Secondly, what can we do as members of our committee trying to make things better in the lives of our shipmates? Be motivating to your shipmates to make sure that you challenge them to go to the next level. And shipmates, whether it be your peers, certainly you can influence your peers to take things to the next level for them. People over whom you have a measure of responsibility, you certainly have a tremendous opportunity to challenge them, find out what's going on in their lives, find out what their goals are, and challenge them to take things to the next level. And you can also stimulate people that have a measure of responsibility over you. And the good thing is you can help them to make their lives better. They're probably going to make your life better too. So that's a good thing. So you get to reach some benefit that way. So then thirdly, what can you do to make things better in the lives of your family? That's next is the third point there. You know, we have entered the Navy with a family. We're the Marine Corps. We're going to depart wearing the cloth of this nation at some point in time. And we're still going to have a family. That family may be a different family than it was when you came into the military, but family is something that significantly endures, something that you prioritize. And you can ask yourself, what can you do to nurture and develop those relationships with your family, because that's something that's so critical and that's something that's enduring. We want you to work hard when you work. There's no question about that. But you can't be enduring them. So make sure that you're really trying to focus on what you do to make that relationship and those relationships in your family better. And then what can you do to make things better in your own life for yourself is the next piece. You know, whether that be with professional development, set yourself goals to try to achieve something to the next level. I'll have to tell of a story where one of the retirement that we had not too terribly long ago, he was a corpsman that came into the Navy, and he did what you do as a quad zero. You practiced that way for a while, went to A school, and then he decided he wanted to be an OR tech. And so he went away to C school, became an OR tech, and came back and practiced in the OR for a period of time. Well, it wasn't long before he thought, I should try to do something more than that. So he applied in the MESEP program to become a nurse. He was accepted in the MESEP program, went away back to Michigan, and became a nurse, and came back as a staff nurse in the Navy. Wasn't for a while after being a staff nurse, he thought, I really like the OR. So he went back and trained as a perioperative nurse, and then worked at that for a while. And after spending time in the OR, he looked behind the curtain where there was somebody passing gas, and he said, I can do that. And so he went away and applied for become a CRNA. And actually he's a CRNA. And so during his Navy career, he kept looking to see what can I do to make things better, professional development, and took things to the next level to challenge folks to do that as well. In your own personal life, whether it be your spiritual life, your physical life, your mental life, set goals while you're challenged while you're at the hospital. And then lastly, it's an appeal to what can you do to make things better for the command. It's a little bit overlap with better for the patients because certainly that's our mission, has to do with patient care. But I'd like to challenge people that way, is people come to an organization with fresh eyes. So take those fresh eyes that you have. When you were in the health field, or if you were at Naval Hospital, whatever, if you saw the process that you did at that hospital, and you look at the way we do it at Naval Hospital Camp Pendleton, and you go, wow, when I was in Jacksonville, they did it this way, and it's a lot better than we do it at Camp Pendleton. Well, tell us that, because we want to be able to do things better here. So put those fresh eyes and fresh lenses, what can you do to make your organization better, or command better? So again, that's my philosophy, is better. What can you do to make a positive difference? What can you do to make things better in those 5 areas?
Well, first, let me say thank you to Lieutenant Colonel Everly for organizing this PME. I think it's just absolutely fantastic to have the opportunity to share ideas and perspectives for the great leaders we have on stage. My philosophy has been about the same for about 20 plus years. I call it Vader Law, LAW, Leadership Attitude War Climate. We're in a people's business, and when you're in a people's business, it doesn't matter what service you're in or whatever your profession. Leadership, in my opinion, is about influence and relationships. It's the influence that you're going to have on me. It's the influence I will have on you. It's the relationships that we establish up and down the chain of command. I truly believe that when you're a leader, not only do you set the example, and you're that one person that everybody's looking at, but you also have to have perspective or the ability to be able to go to its lowest level. So you should never, ever be separated from those that you lead in terms of their ability to relate to you and your ability to relate to them. Whether you're in the military, whether you're a coach, whether you're a preacher, it's about people. It's about that relationship that you establish. Creates an environment of command and allow you to be successful and be effective. And leadership is about your legacy. What are you going to leave in terms of your historical perspective? I say you make a difference. And you make a difference in the lives of those around you. From my perspective as a leader, pure joy comes when I can make sure or set the environment for those around me to be successful. And I think that's absolutely important, and the key to accomplishing the mission is that everybody is working in harmony. And so the leader, he sets the tone of that. The second one is about attitude. Attitudes, it sets the tempo in an organization. I truly believe that you give me a group of people with the right attitude, and we can accomplish anything. I went to a small basketball school called Austin Peay State University, and there was a coach by the name of Lake Kelly. He had one of the most prolific scorers in the country, who rivaled Larry Bird. His name was James Fly Williams. As a biology guy, I was trying to figure out how to up my average. So I took athletic coaching of basketball, and taking athletic coaching of basketball, Lake Kelly was the coach. I got an A in class too. Lake said, if you write attitude on the top of your paper, it's 85 points. I was like a kid in kindergarten with a crayon, because I wrote attitude across the top of that paper. And I say that because Lake said 85% of it was the attitude. And I got that, and I understood that, and realized that it's the attitude that you take, that you have, that you maintain, that sets you up for success. I'll tell you to go on and Google it, and those who know me, I say this all the time. Google Charles Swindoll. And when you read Charles Swindoll and what he says about attitude, you can give you a better appreciation for it. It's more important than money, more important than education, more important, it is the most important thing. So I offer that to you as a piece to read to give you a better perspective about the importance and significance of attitude. Now the last one is warfighting. I'm cocky. I mean, it's okay. I'm a Marine. You don't want a Marine who don't feel that he's good in his job. You want a Marine who's very good in his job. And so I say the last one is warfighting for a reason. I truly believe in thinking I'm the best infantry guy in the Marine Corps. I want those around me to believe that as a warfighter, that's your skill. You're the best doctor, you're the best dentist, you're the best supply, you're the best communicator. So that W stands for warfighter. You've got to be the best in your skill set. You become the best through study, through pulling from all the others. I wrote down everybody's philosophy while I sit here. I'm going to work that in mind somehow. You got to steal everything you can from other people. swipe, you steal, you take, you do everything you can to do. Wow, that's pretty cool. And figure out how to work it into your way and view of how you do things. I'm amazed at 34, 35 years in the Corps. The Marine Corps sent me to a leadership course a couple of weeks ago. Now, you got to be kidding me. So I had to go to a leadership course in Colorado, and it was called Leadership at the Peak. It's absolutely amazing. And it was amazing from the fact that if you haven't had the opportunity to get a Myers-Briggs, get a Myers-Briggs. That was my second Myers-Briggs, where they make a determination of whether you're an ESTJ or ENTJ or whatever you may be. It's good. But then they did these other things in terms of 360 perspective, where people below you, your peers, and your seniors evaluate you. I'll tell you, it was amazing what you learn about yourself. So, as a warfighter being the best, it's important that you know yourself, that you know your weaknesses, that you know your strengths. And so as you move up along the chain on the ladder, offset your weaknesses and your strengths. You know your weakness right now. And so the key will be pick those individuals around you that offset what you're not good at. And that was amazing as to what I was able to pick up after 35 years of hearing my peers. And the peers, I was in the military. All the other 9 individuals were CEOs of businesses around the country. And it was no holds barred, where we were videoed. It was just like we're on ABC and video, and they critique you and make comments about you, about your style. So believe me, the warfighter now, thinking that, I have all this, I learned a whole lot about myself by listening to my peers. So I'll tell you that is absolutely key, and it's important that you do that. I call it self-check. Every now and then you got to self-check yourself. And you're saying to yourself, as you're looking at your skill set, did I do as well as I should? Am I performing at the level that you got to say this to yourself? I could have prepared better. I could have got myself, I could have spent a little more time on this particular project. And did I set myself up for success? And I think that's the key to being successful in the large scheme of things as you move on up in this game. But I'm going to throw one more in here that I think is absolutely important in time. I gave all the officers in the division some time with the top 10. I'm going to give you the top 2. Don't do. All right? Be successful. 6. If that ain't the topic of the country right now. All right? If ain't your wife, if somebody else's wife, you're wrong. All right? They'll keep you off the scout line. The other one is government travel. Mess that one up. I gotta tell you, one of the biggest investigations in the history of this country on military also was about government travel. Right? And just throwing it out at you is you put that in your philosophy also about doing the right thing. And that's all I would say. Okay, I'm gonna stop and let the moderator get control.
Thank you for those remarks, sir. I'm here to guide the ship. In line with some of the command philosophies, gentlemen, if you could provide us in the audience here, one recommendation for a book that you currently would recommend, and tell us why. Sure.
Well, here years ago, I used to go and do a lot of platform teaching, and I always bring a bag and get things ready in the kitchen, and my boys would sit there and say, "Dad, you got show and tell today?" And I said, "Yep, got show and tell today." So I brought my bag, and I got show and tell. So when I look at what is a favorite book, of all my deployments I've been on, I want to try to find out why I feel the way I feel, why I act the way I act, what should I do, and about everything in life. I didn't come with an instruction manual when I was growing up. So one of the first books I always have the good book. And the Bible is always next to my desk.
Amen.
And that's what I'm about. Of all